it is Courtney here. We've made it to the end of November. I didn't think that it would make it here, okay? It's been a very busy month for me. I've had a few trips, lots of work, lots of packing, just a lot of chaos going on this end. But I did manage to find my happy place, which is books. And I did manage to read a few. Not as much as I would like, but I got some in there, okay? So there is Nonfiction November. There was also Indigenous Author Month. There was also Men's Fiction. And I tried to get a little bit in each category. And we'll talk about kind of where that led me, okay? By the way, I am drinking, not tea, seltzer mixed with a little kind of lemon lime powder, drinky in there. That's all I could find. But very good for the throat. Let's talk about NetGalley November. For some reason, I keep saying Nonfiction November. It just got stuck in my head. So I managed to fit, I think, 4 books in there. And this is the end of November, so I'm still working on the last one, okay? So I didn't kind of get to the bingo card. Just too many things got in the way. Now, the first book I read is The Summer I Ate the Rich, which has a really amazing cover, by the way. But it is a YA book, kind of a mix of fantasy / horror about this Haitian American girl who is a zombie. Now, there's a difference between a Haitian zombie and American zombie, so go ahead and look that up. It's pretty interesting. So she's basically tired of working for all these rich people who hoard their wealth and don't use it for anything for the greater good. Does that sound familiar? So then she decides to start using her zombie abilities to start helping others that are in need. But you know, there's some other things that go into that when it's not really your money. But I loved this story. I thought that it was unique. I love the incorporation of a Haitian culture and then all the references and definitely all the commentary about, you know, rich people and their selfishness and how they try to erase other cultures. Because that's definitely true and definitely relevant. I see that today, especially in today's political climate. I will say, and this is YA, okay, but I had some issues with some of her recklessness and lack of accountability for that recklessness in her actions. I mean, I thought it was fun while it was going on. I just felt there should have been some accountability or some more accountability. But overall, I enjoyed the story. I was very shocked and in awe many times. And I was a bit grossed out in others. But definitely something I recommend that people take a look at and discuss. Another book that I picked up is I Made It Out of Clay. And this one's a rom-com with, you know, fantasy elements in it. About this lonely, awkward Jewish woman who decides that she needs a date for her sister's wedding and creates this golem to be her date. And basically a golem is just a man made out of clay that can, you know, do whatever you want. Now, while this is supposed to be a rom-com and I found some parts funny, I overall did not find this to be a comedic story. So I was kind of thrown off by the idea that it is a rom-com, at least in my definition of how I like my rom-coms. I did think that there was a lot of serious themes thrown in and that probably affected my enjoyability of it as a comedy because you had like anti-Semitism and a big thing about grief and feeling unprotected. Now, while this story wasn't exactly what I thought it would be, it was still a very decent story and was well written, but it was mostly serious. I did love the diversity in the book and all of the characters. It was just a big mashup and mix up of a little bit of everybody, as well as some queer representation. And you even had a Black Jewish person, so definitely putting some things in this book. Oh, and the whole idea that these people in the books are best friends, I just didn't buy it. They're more of what my mom would call your acquaintances versus your friends. There's definitely a distinction between that. Then you have We Call Them Giants. Now, We Call Them Giants is a dystopian graphic novel about a girl who wakes up and finds that pretty much everybody in the world's disappeared. And then she finds a couple of friends and navigates almost being eaten by wolves and a bunch of gangs. And then she finds these big old giants and try to figure out, is this friend or is it the enemy? I don't know. but it radiates heat. So let's figure it out. And it's going to give me some food. Now, it sounds kind of comedic, sort of, kind of, but surprisingly, it was very, very emotional. And I did not expect that. You had issues of like abandonment and trust issues in it. But it was extremely well written, and I love how crisp the graphics were. Well done. I will say though that it will leave you with questions. So I'm assuming there's going to be some follow-ups. But I absolutely love this graphic novel. And the next book, which I am currently still reading, is Wicked Jenny. So let me see what that is about on my new little Kindle. Check out my video on getting my new Kindle, by the way. I'm going to link it. So you basically have these men that are haunted by some traumatic event that happened in their childhood. Thus far, I'm only, about a third of the way into it. Let's just say that somebody died. They're trying to figure out who did that and how that connects to, current. So I love the cover of that for sure. But I have not finished that, but I needed to get this video out. So that is NetGalley November for me, okay? I did what I could with all the other stuff, right? So I also participated in Nonfiction November, right? So Nonfiction November, I read Sure, I'll Be Your Black Friend. And I have definitely a dedicated video for this. I suggest any and everybody check out that video. But it's about a black man navigating white spaces and the things that he has learned. I can relate. This book has taken me all month to read, okay? It's a chore. Now, this is a graphic novel. I picked it up thinking, oh, it'll be quick. It was not quick, okay? This book, I started this book, I think, the first day of the month, and it's taken all the way up until yesterday to finish it. And I read it in between other things because it's so much material that is presented in this book. And it's basically Pillars of Civilization. It basically talks about how, human beings started out from the beginning, which it does acknowledge humanity started in Africa. And it talks about how we started cultivating wheat and how basically that kind of shaped our society into where we are today. Very enlightening, very much a very comprehensive view of the world. It does not shy away from sensitive topics like racism and slavery and the caste system in India. I mean, I think it doesn't go in depth into it, but it does not shy away to bring up how that is something that man made up and not ordained by God, and how man utilizes their own narrative, their own fiction in order to create the systems that only benefit the powerful. But very, very enlightening book. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I suggest almost anyone check it out. Also it has tons of like kind of pop-ish culture references in here too as well, or from history and different cultures. But very good book, very good book, very good idea. I might have to check out some other volumes. That's volume 2 right there. Let's see. Okay, so for Indigenous Author Month, I did try to read Bad Cree, and I couldn't get into it. Maybe it was just the time. I was doing some traveling, but I did attempt to read that, as well as Wandering Stars, and then I had to return that one to the library. So I didn't really get too far into that. Keep in mind, you should be reading diversely all year long and not just certain months of the year. So I'm gonna definitely hit that up because I'm a diverse reader. And then we also had, for men's fiction, okay, you have Devils Kill Devils. And this is a new book by Johnny Compton. I couldn't get into this book. I DNF, let's see, where did I DNF it at? 35 pages. I did after that 35 pages and then kind of skim through, and I think his writing style is just not for me. It's one of those, you say a lot and not doing a lot. That's the way I say it. But it was not for me. There's a lot of biblical references in this as well. Let me know if anybody took a look at this book. I hear he is very much acclaimed. I just don't think he's for me, or at least this book is. But what I did read is this book here, Ruined Road by Lamar Giles. This was a good book. Now, this is by Lamar Giles. I also read The Getaway by him. Both great books. Now, this is like a fantastical horror about this poor black kid named Cade who goes to this predominantly white, rich high school where, you know, he has a football scholarship and, you know, he's doing his thing, right? But people fear him. So in anger one day, he says, oh, I wish people, you know, don't fear me. Then his dream comes true and people start lacking fear around him, which has, you know, some lasting consequences for any and everybody. It's a very unique story where you combine social issues such as racism with supernatural elements. Very unique in how like bartering for lives is considered almost like a investment. So that was pretty cool. But very thought-provoking about how fear holds people back and how lack of opportunity and racism shapes the decisions that people make, which can have lasting consequences for millions of people as a whole. I also thought it was interesting how Cade, you know, is this young black guy. All the parents and his friends' hopes and dreams on being able to make it out of their lower economic status rest on him and his football. That's a lot of pressure. Okay, my battery died, but I was just saying it's a good book and check it out, okay? But that is it for me for this month. I made it, okay? Anyway, let me know what you participated in this month and if you have any favorite stands out. I think that mine is We Call Them Giants. It was really good. And of course, this. But I'm really liking my new Kindle. I'm gonna have to give it some more love, okay? Okay, y'all, like, subscribe, and definitely leave me some comments, and I'll see you around book 2. Bye-bye.